With the House Democrats releasing articles of impeachment against President Trump, it could be just a matter of time before the Senate convenes the third presidential removal trial in American history. Here with me now is one of the senators who could be potentially presiding over that trial, New Jersey Senator and Democratic presidential candidate Cory Booker. Senator, thank you so much for joining us. Do you think there should have been other articles of impeachment?
You know, I think Nancy Pelosi has done a very difficult job and a very good job in navigating a lot of different voices and opinions in the House. My job, as spelled out by the Constitution, is to be one of 100 jurors. And whatever the House sends over to us as those articles are those, so they're going to be the ones that all of us will swear an oath to deal with in an objective manner and hold the president accountable. You say an objective manner. Your Republican colleagues in the Senate really seem to have the president's back. Do you think they're prepared to give the evidence a fair trial? Again, they'll have to answer to that, not just in this moment, but in the long eyes of history. This is a president that his behavior has been stunning, and we should all at least admit that, whether you think it's impeachable or not. He has been a person that has been willing to hold hostage American resources to try to leverage our taxpayer dollars against an American ally in order for his own political gain. This is just behavior that's wrong, and we should be coming forth and saying that. We cannot in any way give a president a pass for doing things that so violate our values. And now we have to decide in an objective fashion, indeed, was this an impeachable offense? And we will hear evidence of that, and we need to not have somebody's back. We need to do the bidding of what's best interest of the American people. Senator, what do you believe is the biggest piece of evidence, the strongest piece of evidence that really speaks against the president at this point? Well, his own words. I mean, this is a president that has openly violated what our founders warned us about, which is inviting foreign interference in our own elections. And he has spoken openly about those things. And so, again, I will consider the evidence in regards to impeachment when it's presented before the United States Senate. But clearly, we should all, in a full-throated chorus of conviction, say it is wrong for a president to leverage his position for his own personal gain and to leverage our taxpayer dollars in a way that violates a bipartisan intention of Congress in order to try to stimulate an investigation against his political opponent. This is just wrong. We should be resolute in that. There's no questioning that his behavior was unacceptable. The only question should be, is this an impeachable offense? Speaker Pelosi also, Senator, had another announcement today, a big win for the president with this new trade deal with Canada and Mexico. Bipartisan support. What do you make of this victory for the president? Well, again, this is not about political win or political loss. It should be about what's in the best interest of America. And I'm going to evaluate that deal on the Senate side through the lens of what's best for labor and our environment. And is it going to be yet another big benefit for large multinational corporations, or will the American worker actually be the one that benefits, and how will this affect the global crisis of climate change? And I think we should evaluate things on the facts, not about who wins politically and who doesn't. Senator Michael Bloomberg apologized for referring to you as, quote, well-spoken during an interview with our Gayle King last week. And he said, quote, it probably shouldn't have used the word, but I could just tell he is a friend of mine. Do you accept the apology? Are you willing to forgive and forget that comment? Again, Michael Bloomberg is a friend, and this is not about me, and it's not about him. It is about, however, who's going to lead our party. And I think that African Americans are a critical constituency. And when you make comments like that, and you've got to accept that this is not about an individual, it's about really doing things that are turning off a critical element of the coalition we need to win. The next nominee from our party has to be able to ignite the high record turnouts within the African American community. The last time we won, we had a presidential candidate that could do that. The last time, for a lot of reasons, we had a lower turnout in African American communities. That alone was the difference between winning and losing in a presidential race. More than 1 million, Senator, to be precise with that. I want to ask you about your numbers. You know, unfortunately, it doesn't look like you're going to qualify for this next debate. You've talked about that. The polling just isn't there, that 4% that you need in those national polls. What do you think it is that you're struggling with that you can't get these people of color, particularly in the black community, to come out and support you? Oh, first of all, there's no certainty we're not going to make it, and I hope people will go to corybooker.com and help us out. And we're polling pretty much where everybody from Carter to Kerry was at this point in their presidential elections. We have these new artificial debate stages, but dear God, Barack Obama was way behind in African American voters before Iowa. He was about 20 points behind Hillary Clinton at this point. The Iowa voters, that's when this begins, and we should not be having debate stages that are determined based upon imprecise polling let's wait till it starts. We actually right now are #1 in the field in Iowa and New Hampshire for endorsements for local leaders. We're in the top 3 or so for net favorabilities. And according to the Des Moines Register, we have one of the best organizing teams on the ground. We're set up to compete and win in Iowa. And I'm hoping that people will go to CoryBooker.com and support us so we can do what billionaires are doing right now, which is running ads to juice up their polling numbers to make a debate stage.
If you don't make it to the debate, what's your focus going to be? At what point do you say there just isn't enough gas in the tank to keep going? What will your strategy be?
Well, right now we are seeing in December record online contributions for people that want my voice in this race, which is giving us more power to execute our strategy to win in Iowa. I just came out of Iowa where we had record crowds, overflowing crowds, and the enthusiasm and energy is just growing. So I'm hoping people will continue to not let the DNC decide who the people get to vote on, but to support my candidacy, keep my voice in this race by going to CoryBooker.com.
Will you be focusing solely on Iowa at this point? What will your strategy be?
Well, we're focused on the early primary states. We have teams up in Iowa, Nevada, in New Hampshire, and in South Carolina. And look, at this point, John Kerry was polling really low. He lent himself $5 million and went on the air in Iowa and was able to win. I can't lend myself $5 million. I haven't lived my life that way. But as we raise more money, we're going to be more competitive. And I'm excited that folks are seeing the momentum in those early primary states for our campaign, as most of our nominees. In fact, we've never had a nominee who was leading in the polls this far out who went on to win the presidency. It's always been from Carter to Bill Clinton to Barack Obama, people like me, younger candidates who surge at the very end. And that looks like what we're going to be able to do, but we definitely need people's support to do that.
All right, Senator Cory Booker, I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.